Elizabeth Tracy Bell, Michael Wetzel, Mary Ann Landis, Erica Pierce, Brian Cornegay, Jeannie Metcalf, and John Graff. I personally won't be asking questions. I sort of think that's problematical, but other members of the council may do so to clarify their understanding and to delve more into the reasons of interest in the position. We do not have any set process after we hear from the candidates. We assume that someone will be willing to make a nomination, and if my understanding is correct, to be nominated, a person would have to receive 3 votes. If no one were to receive 3 votes this evening, I assume we would have to consider alternatives at that point. So let's hear from the candidates, starting with Mary Elizabeth Tracy Bell.
Mr. Mayor, will there be time for public comment?
Yes, we would definitely have time for public comment before any vote is taken by the council.
Would there be more than one nomination?
Again, there was a process followed previously, but it's been so long. The city clerk let me know that there's no specific process. I would assume there would be a nomination, and we would ask for a second and vote on that, and then see if that didn't pass, there would be another nomination. Do you have a better concept?
Don't know.
Okay. Well, we can discuss the details of the process after we hear from the contenders. Mary Elizabeth Tracy Bell.
Thank you for allowing me to speak before you this evening. I am Mary Bell, and I'm applying for, or I did apply for, the position that's vacant on the Student Council. I believe the statement is to have 3 parts: why I'm qualified, why I'm interested in the job, and any questions that I might have. When I look at the application, the only criteria I saw were that I needed to be a registered voter, that I needed to reside in the city of Ukiah, and that I needed to be able to commit to the time that's necessary. While I am a registered voter, I do live in the city of Ukiah, and for the most part, I'm retired. I still do a little part-time work, but I'm sure I can make the commitment that's necessary. But I think I also have some other qualities. I'm relatively intelligent. I have a pretty level head. I've done considerable team work, working with groups as well as working all by myself. I'm a good listener. I have good organizational skills. I have absolutely no political ambition. I have no particular axe to grind. I think I could be a fair representative of the citizens of Ukiah. And hopefully, you'll give me some consideration. Why am I interested? I read the article in the Journal that said no one had submitted an application. And I guess for some reason I took that personally. I was really offended by that, because this is my hometown. This is where my family has been for over 100 years. My grandmother was born on the lot where Safeway is now. My grandfather was vice president of the Savings Bank. How is it that nobody in this town wants to be on the city council and fill this position? I was ranting. I'm starting to rant now. And my children said, well, what's the matter with you? Why don't you apply? And I thought, well, after years of teaching history and government and telling students you need to be citizens who give back to your community, yeah, why not me? So I went ahead and downloaded the application and submitted it. I've traveled all over the world as a military wife, and Ukiah has always been home. I live here, I work here. I came back in 1993. My children live here, they work here, and I just love this town. I can think back to when it was the cute little town that I grew up in. We actually rode horses down Dora Street. I look at the town as it is today and how much it has grown and developed. And my concern is, what will this town be in the future? What future is there here for my children, for their children? And I'm very kind of concerned. I would like to be involved in that growth. As for any questions I have, just one. I know you meet just 2 Wednesdays a month, but the job has to entail much more than that. and just kind of a ballpark about how many hours a week would I be committing to this? That's the only real question that I have.
Doug Crane.
My commitment's about 30 hours a week.
That's reasonable. And have you any questions of me?
I didn't hear, you said how many hours a week?
About 30. And, yeah, I do. What sort of budgets have you overseen?
Small budgets, PTA, officers' wives, things that are, relatively like 30,000 or less type budgets, not big budgets.
Thank you.
Any further follow-up questions from the council?
I do have one other statement. I'm very pleased that 6 other people did decide to apply for this. I'm no longer as offended.
And I will say the time commitment varies councilperson to councilperson, and there are some separate commissions and committees that people are expected to serve on, some during daytime hours, some in the evening hours, but those generally are monthly meetings, and we have 2 regular meetings, sometimes special meetings.
Thank you very much.
The second person who's made an application is Michael Wetzel.
Hello, thank you. I'm Mike Wetzel. I'm here to hopefully be appointed to the City Council tonight. As far as my experience with the position, I've run twice for the City Council, have both been on the Planning Commission and the Airport Commission. Airport Commission for 7 years, Planning Commission for 2. Right now I am a member of the Planning Commission. I also have worked with budgets, small business. I am a small business owner. I have lived and raised my family here in Ukiah. My wife was born and raised here. Seen it grow very slowly, which we kind of like. We like the hometown, little small town atmosphere, but I've also seen crime increase. I've seen issues with the city budgets, the city not taking care of the internal part of the city, the roads, the sewers. We have water issues, electricity issues, and I feel being on the council, being on the Airport Commission, and then being on part of the Planning Commission has helped me with that, understanding all those processes. I've also noticed that the city and the county seem to be at loggerheads. We need them to work more together to get the valley planned as one entity. The Ukiah Valley is Ukiah, basically. And you have such a city limit line that the county and the city have to work as one. And it doesn't seem that has been happening. In the 13 plus years that I've lived here, there's always been talk. It always seems that there's a talk. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I have not seen any movement towards. There probably is in the background, and I know the process is slow because I've been in the political. I've seen it from both sides. I believe that we need to protect our agriculture areas. We need to protect our open spaces, but we also need to be under the understanding that we do need jobs in Ukiah, and there needs to be some tax base. We've lost hundreds of jobs in the last year due to the economic downturn of the county and the country, but there's nothing to replace that tax dollar. But the city seems to still want to spend dollars that they don't have. But the city and the county really need to work together to create more jobs, to be business friendly for industry,